You remember, man, those good old days of the really good celebrations, like Steve Smith wiping the baby and rocking it, Joe Horn going over and grabbing a cell phone.
Who had better celebration? Steve Smith, Terrell Owens, or Ocho Cinco?
When he did the Ray Lewis, when he imitated him, like, wow.
That was dope. But
I was like, man, that's taking your life in your own hands. Steve Smith was funny.
I think he was more creative.
He's wittier, like when you hear him talk, and he's still talking junk now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Has anybody asked Steve Smith who he thinks the number one NFL wide receiver of all time is?
It's going to be Steve Smith. I'll go ahead and save you the suspense. Coming to you live from the Softfleet Studios in beautiful Hillsborough, North Carolina. I'm your host, Clintonian Webb. I am joined by Mr. Merald, the Commish Holloway, and Mr. Dominic, the Dom Battistella. And also on the ones and twos, our boy Dre. And this is the Joe Schmo Sports Show. We're just regular guys that know just enough about sports to have this show.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and get to receivers.
Okay.
Unless you guys have anything to add.
With running backs.
Okay, yeah, we're through the running backs. At least the top five.
Yeah, we got top five.
We'll come back. We'll talk about the.
Yeah, because we're about like waiver wire pickups and stuff like that. I want to get through this.
Go for it.
Yeah, let's go pretty quickly. We'll spend more time on your boy because he deserves it this year. All right, so the number one wide receiver in fantasy football. I don't think it's a real surprise. Merald, who you got? Who do you think?
It's Diggs or Adams.
It's Adams.
One of them. Yeah.
It's Adams. Adams.
I mean, Diggs has more receptions, though.
Yeah, but check this out.
Yeah.
So 295.65 points for Devonte Adams.
Yeah, and he missed the game.
He had 109 catches,
right?
1,328 and 17.
Cool.
Okay, so he was barely the number one wide receiver. Diggs was not number two.
I get that. Oh,
Hill?
yeah. A lot of experts
Tyrique,
said stay away from Josh Allen and stay away from Diggs.
Sure.
They didn't think it was a good match.
You don't think that
if
anymore.
If you watch the playoff game with the Bills and the Texans at the end of last year, and I don't know what happened to Josh Allen. I don't know what was going on. I've never seen anything like that in a professional football game.
Nope.
If you watch that and then you don't know what was going on with Diggs while he left Minnesota, so people like stay away.
Yep.
And so he fell into people's laps.
Well, it's because Minnesota was making him out to be the villain. So
yeah, he just wants the ball, man.
Yeah,
every wide receiver wants the ball.
And you have Thielen on the other side, and
he was getting the ball.
Yeah,
yep.
But it wasn't that. It really wasn't that. It was Zimmer's offense,
right?
That was just dedicated to smash mouth running the ball. And Diggs like, look, we've got.
We're not bombing it.
Yeah, we should be.
Also, you have Thielen. To Thielen's credit here, he is number 2 in the NFL in catch percentage, behind Michael Thomas.
Oh yeah,
in the last couple of years. And so you throw the ball to this kid, he's going to catch it.
Oh, he's a beast, Chris.
He's just a really solid wide receiver.
And you had the two of them basically at 1,000 yards apiece.
But Kirk Cousins is still your quarterback. Sure.
And Kirk he will get you numbers as a wide receiver.
Sure.
But
he won't get you the ball. You're going to have to go get it.
He's not going to win you games either. When Diggs came to Buffalo and you saw the tremendous improvement in Josh Allen, I don't think that's necessarily because of Diggs. I think he would have been great this year.
I think
Diggs
so too.
Or not.
Yeah.
I think that both of them being in that situation improved each other.
Oh,
If you look at Diggs, he's almost at 1,500 yards now.
Oh, of course,
it's way above his career average.
Yep.
And it's not like he's the only person getting the ball because Cole Beasley's just
John Brown was
getting
healthy.
the ball.
Yep.
He was healthy. And Gabriel Davis has been
Davis has been pretty good
addition to the team.
Yeah.
So it's not like Josh isn't spreading the ball around. He really is, which is why you don't see the touchdown numbers for Diggs. But Diggs is just that guy runs the best route in the NFL.
So we really saw this year what I'm about to say. Kirk Cousins is not a wide receivers quarterback. Right? He will get you numbers, as you said, but he won't throw you open, right?
Nope.
If you're a wide receiver, you're going to have to go get it.
You're not going to get it outside the number.
You're not going to get it where you want it.
Yep.
The ball's going to be high. The ball's going to be low. The ball's going to be left or right. As you said, Cousins is a serviceable quarterback that's going to get you numbers, but Josh Allen's more of a wide receivers quarterback.
Yeah.
He's going to put the ball where he knows he needs to put the ball, and where Stephon Diggs knows he needs to go to get the ball, he's going to go to get the ball.
That's the difference between having an average quarterback and having an MVP caliber quarterback on your team. Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, those three guys are playing head and shoulders above any other quarterback when it comes to passing.
Okay, so while we're on Diggs, he had 259.3 points. So he was 40 almost points behind Devonte Adams. Okay? They had 8.
Yeah.
1,459 yards. So he was the leader in yards. It was close, but he was the leader in yards, and he had 120 catches. Those are solid freaking numbers, guys.
Especially in PPR.
I mean
that's 120 points.
Yeah.
But adding the yards.
You got to get him more touchdowns. And and you lose touchdowns to Diggs because of Josh Allen, because of his rushing ability.
Yeah.
So he had 8 rushing touchdowns.
But you also have
Cole Beasley, who's great across the middle.
Josh Allen spreads the ball out far more than Aaron Rodgers does.
You guys don't have any tight ends to speak of. Well, you don't throw to your running backs.
But they do.
Well, but they're not very good at it.
Their tight ends are like nondescript.
Daryl Knox or whatever his
they
name
aren't.
is.
They do spread the
He spreads the balls.
receptions.
Yeah, sure.
So Buffalo has tied the all-time NFL record for number of different players who have caught a touchdown pass.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah.
So I think it's at 13 different.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Caught
that's pretty crazy.
One of those
is Allen.
Josh Allen.
From Cole Beasley, I think.
What was it called? I don't
pretty
remember.
sure.
It maybe have been like Isaiah McKenzie.
I'm pretty sure it was Cole Beasley.
It was the Cole Beasley.
I'm pretty sure. Because Cole Beasley had a good game that game.
There was one from McKenzie and there's one from Cole Beasley. One of them got called back because of a penalty.
I'm pretty sure the one on SportsCenter was the Cole Beasley.
So,
I'm pretty sure.
Allen will go out there and mix it up a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's going to throw it to an offensive lineman that reported eligible.
Yeah.
He's going to throw it to like the third string tight end. So he's going to get those.
And he's going to run the ball.
Run it in. Aaron Rodgers isn't likely to run it in, and he's going to look for Devonte Adams because who else does he have to throw it to?
See, Devonte is a different type of receiver because he's bigger, right? A little bigger.
So
he's tall. He's
Diggs is one of the best in the league at high pointing the ball. Even
absolutely.
So
he's
he wanted
radius.
to run those wide receiver fades in the back of the end zone. He could run those.
Sure, he could.
Diggs. They just don't have to because. He doesn't have to worry about Josh Allen doesn't have to worry about his release time because he can extend the play and find the open receiver. He doesn't have to throw the 50-50 ball.
Sure.
Right. And he doesn't have that touch yet that Rodgers has. He
definitely not.
He actually can't make that
He's
throw
getting
yet.
better, but he's definitely not the touch that Rodgers. Rodgers on a different level.
Rodgers
him and Mahomes
can throw that ball
the
that fade in a way
crazy.
that only a few people can.
But that is actually, if you look at advanced analytics, that is one of the least successful plays.
Oh, it's a terrible play.
Yeah.
That fade is a terrible play.
It's less than 25%.
I hate
it's a 50-50 ball. It's not.
Right.
And you're only
less than that, right?
Yeah, you're as likely to get intercepted.
I hate it, especially when you run it with a 6-foot wide receiver. If you have Randy Moss, I'm running that play every single time in the end zone. Every time.
Brady to Gronk.
Every time. Because there's nobody that's going to out-jump or out-fit physical these guys to get this ball.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, Diggs, we just talked about.
Okay.
So let's go to the guy that was the wide receiver 1 for the number 1 quarterback. He is the number 4 wide receiver overall, Mr. Deandre Hopkins himself, in one of the dumbest moves in the history of football. DeAndre Hopkins goes to the Cardinals and makes the Cardinals, he makes Kyler Murray great.
Yeah, I guess fantasy great. I don't know how great he is.
No, fantasy great.
Yeah.
Fantasy great.
Yeah.
He's the number 1, QB1 on the year. So didn't have the best year. Didn't have a DeAndre Hopkins year.
Still has 1,372
yards,
receiving yards.
6 touchdowns,
and 100. Only caught 6 touchdowns.
It does indeed. It does indeed.
I feel like he had like 2 or 3 stinkers in there.
He did.
Yeah.
He had a couple.
With Kyler Murray.
They have
when you
receiver.
through and he gives you a 5 for 60.
Yes.
Man.
So look, whenever you have DeAndre Hopkins,
I'm never going to get shitted when I know Devonte is going to get me
every
20 to 25 points
every time, no matter what.
I'm iffy on the D-Hop because he may give you 25.
I get it.
He may give you 10.
Even though he's got the best hands in football.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's
like
available.
Julio Jones.
Oh, man.
I don't know what to do with this guy.
But D-Hop had 1,300 yards. It's not like he had a bad year. Obviously, he's wide receiver 4. And, man, like, he doesn't have any counterpart. Christian Kirk is not very good. What's that? Danny Isabella.
Oh, I love that guy. Isabella. Oh, I love that little dude.
However, he's not somebody that you're scared of.
No.
So you double D-Hop every time. There's no tight end to speak of. You have Kenyon Drake.
Arnold.
You have Kenyon Drake and Chasen. So these are your main threats in the offense. So you're going to double D-Hop 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
So he's going to get the Javarius Whites or whatever of the world every time. Jadavius White every time, every single week. So 1,300 yards facing number 1.
But he's been doing that his whole career.
No, that's not necessarily true. In Texas, he had Will Fuller.
You're going to play your number 1 defensive back against Will Fuller?
I think you freaking better. Did you see? So I think that's a legitimate question here.
Take because your number 2 and have your safety.
But is Will Ferrell? Yes. Will Fuller. When Fuller and D-Hop were on the same team, Fuller's obviously going to be your number 2. Right?
If he plays,
but he's not a number 2 wide receiver. He showed that this year.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think you watched too much Texas.
No, he showed that this year. Look at the stats. He showed that this year. Before he went out with PEDs, he was a number 6 overall wide receiver.
He was good this year.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
the primary target. Hey man, that dude just wants to stay healthy, man. Leave him alone. He just wants to stay healthy. He was on the Barry Bonds thing too, man. He was on the I just want to heal faster.
Yeah.
I just don't want to get bigger. I just want to heal faster.
Yeah. D-Hop, for all the greatness of when he was Houston or Arizona, he's a 9-7, 8-8.
Yeah, good for him for getting away from Bill O'Brien. That's where we'll leave D-Hop.
Yeah.
It's
probably not gonna make the playoffs though. It's just funny, like how he's a really great talent, just like Julio Jones, really great talent, and doesn't really translate to wins.
Yeah.
Like wide receivers, it's great for fantasy. With some of these wide receivers, Devonte is the exception where he's on a good team.
Yes.
But the other thing I always think about, I know on the group chat, is like, what's the last wide receiver that was the best player on a championship team? I don't know.
Yeah. You don't have one.
You don't need them.
It's always quarterback or running back, right? Take a look at Trent Dilfer and Brad Johnson and all those guys.
Yeah, I mean, look at the teams that win. So that's the thing when you look at fantasy versus real football.
Sure.
It's just different qualities that you look for.
I think Hopkins would have had a legitimate shot at some point to potentially win a Super Bowl if he had stayed with Houston.
Because if Bill O'Brien goes away.
Because he had Deshaun Watson.
Yes. If Bill O'Brien goes away, then
who's the great wide receiver with the Super Bowl?
Jerry
Rice.
Okay.
So I get it.
I guess Randy Moss did.
Nope.
He almost did.
Nope.
Merrill's team is thankful
you don't need
for that.
Them. You need running backs. You need offensive line, defensive line, the quarterback. You don't need wide receivers. You don't need them.
Even can be serviceable. So then you go to number 5 overall at a distant 5th. Is 219 points, 80 catches, 1,282 yards, 10 touchdowns. Any guesses? Number 5 overall, wide receiver. 80,
Keenan?
80, 1282, and 10.
Keenan Allen?
Oh.
How many catches Keenan Allen have?
He had almost 100 catches.
Are you looking at DK Metcalf?
Yep.
Okay.
Number 5 overall wide receiver according to Yahoo.
Wow. I would have sworn that could be Keenan Allen. They had like 9,000 catches.
But here's the thing. Look at this. I want you to look at this correlation. So Russell was the number 5 quarterback. DK's number 5 wide receiver. All right. So D-Hop's the number 4 running back, number 4 wide receiver. Kyler's the number 1 quarterback.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes is the number 2 quarterback. And now we'll talk about Tyreek Hill, who was the number 2 wide receiver.
Oh, I love Reek.
So the difference between Tyreek and Devonte Adams, fantasy points was 295.65 for Devonte, 295.10 for Tyreek.
Wow.
All right. Tyreek had 87 catches for 1,276 and 15, but also had 123 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
Okay.
Who would you rather have?
For Devonte?
Yeah, I think so.
I went with Tyreek this year in our draft. I went with Tyreek. I had the chance to get Devonte Adams, but took Tyreek, because Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Because you take him because of Patrick Mahomes, but Patrick Mahomes has so many more weapons.
Yes, but they all get the ball.
Right. Do all get the ball, and that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Devontae's the only guy getting the ball.
So, yes, okay. So you definitely take Devonte.
More consistency there,
right
to week.
Right. So in the defense of not taking Devonte instead of Tyreek, you had Lazard. You have Lazard that was supposed to be really good. Better. He was supposed to be a solid number 2 wide receiver this year until he got hurt. Then you have Valdez-Scantling.
Oh boy.
And who
Mike cannot.
Oh my gosh! But he will be open.
He'll be open, but he can't catch it.
And then you have Aaron Jones, who is a very good pass-catching back. So you have Tyreek Hill. Oh, sorry. Then you have I'm not going to say aging Aaron Rodgers because I think that's unfair. But Patrick Mahomes, if you get 20% of the targets from Patrick Mahomes, that's better than 70% from most others. And you're getting 20% of the target share as Tyreek Hill.
He's special.
And you're not talking about 20% of 10-yard dumps. You're talking about 20% of 50-yard bombs.
Yeah, he had 1276 with only 87 receptions.
Right,
so,
exactly.
I mean, his per catch is huge. And then you're looking at yards after the catch as well with him because he's
wide open and he's running 50 yards.
Right, exactly.
Right, yeah. and he backflipping into the end zone from the 3-yard line. I mean, this dude.
Hey, that might be a risk right there.
Be a risk. Might have hurt. Was it Mark Rippon? Who was it that ran into the stanchion with their helmet? And was it Mark Rippon?
No,
I want to say for
Rippon.
some reason. It was a Redskin.
Yes.
Yeah, he was a Redskin then. You remember, man, those good old days of the really good celebrations, the Joe Horns, the Steve Smiths, all that stuff. Y'all remember?
Johnson.
Now the whole team
Chad
runs
Johnson.
up and gets in front of the camera. And
that's what they allow them to do, man. But like Steve Smith wiping the baby and rocking it, Joe Horn going over and grabbing a cell phone from underneath the field goal post. Man, those are the dang days, guys. Those are the days.
Who had better celebrations? Steve Smith, Terrell Owens, or Ocho Cinco?
When he did the Ray Lewis, when he imitated him, wow,
that was dope. But
I was like, man, that's take your life in your own hands.
I think Steve Smith though was funnier.
Steve Smith was funny.
I think he was more creative.
He's wittier, like when you hear him talk,
and he scored more,
and he's still talking junk now.
Yes,
yeah.
But he scored more than both of them too.
Oh, Steve Smith was something else.
Because he was getting 15, 20 touchdowns from Jake Delhomme and stuff.
Has anybody asked Steve Smith who he thinks the number one NFL wide receiver of all time is?
It's going to be Steve Smith. I'll go ahead and save you the suspense.
Right.
It's going to be
Steve Smith and Michael Irvin argue about who is better.
I think Randy Moss had some pretty good celebrations there also.
Yeah, but talking about the best receiving core, the best two receivers on one team in the history of football with Chris Carter and a very young Randy Moss. With Robert Griffith running the ball. Wasn't that his name? Griffith or Griffin?
Smith.
Robert Smith. Light-skinned dude.
Yeah.
Right? Man, he was good.
Yeah.
And then they had Randall Cunningham and then Dante Culpepper.
Mm-hmm. They had Jake Reed, too.
Yeah. So, that was a good squad, boy. That was a good squad.
They got knocked off by the Falcons that year.
Oh, that was Jamal Anderson, the Dirty Bird Falcons. Andre Rison and all those guys. All right. So we're just going to breeze through these tight ends because, honestly, guys, this is pretty chalk. You have Travis Kelsey and everybody else.
Waller. You got to get Waller.
Well, yeah, okay. So here's the difference between Waller and Kelsey. Okay. So 252.21 for Kelsey. Fantasy points. Okay. 206.20 for Darren Waller. Okay. So actually, very respectful for the Wallerists. So 105 catches for Chelsea, 98 for Darren Waller. 1,416 and 11 touchdowns for Travis Kelsey. 1,079 and 8 for Darren Waller. Okay, so these are the only two. I mean, you can the top five.
Nobody else has. Nobody else has more than 700.
Robert
Tonyan's
3. But then again, you got Aaron Rodgers as the number 3 or 4 quarterback. So Tonyan and
Tonyan is that because he caught 10 touchdowns, but he's only got 568 total yards
and 50 catches.
Yeah.
Tight end is a nightmare.
So you have Travis Kelsey at 252.
Yeah.
You have Tonyan at 140. Wow. Okay. All right. So the variance even gets worse. So number 4 is unbelievably
Mark Andrews.
No,
Hawkinson. Okay.
Hawkinson. Solid.
Andrews is 6th in the Yahoo leagues. So number 5 is my friend and yours, Logan
Thomas. I was going to say he was a surprise.
Okay, so this is, I want to go with a dumb moment for myself this season.
Okay.
I had no idea that this was the same Logan Thomas that played quarterback for Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
This dude's huge.
Yeah. No, he's solid.
Huge.
He's going to be a stud next year.
All right. Yeah. Oh,
and get a quarterback.
He's going to be a stud this week, too, because Alex Smith is playing a game.
We'll see.
And so last time Alex Smith played, he was targeted 20 times and he had 18 catches. So
as long as Alex Smith's a quarterback, he'll be.
Yes.
Because he can't throw the ball.
Because Alex Smith needs somebody like that to go across the middle. But the difference between Kelsey and Thomas was 122 points.
Yeah.
120 points. And Thomas had 69 catches.
Yeah. No, Thomas is solid.
5 touchdowns. That's where it got. And
he's had inconsistent quarterback play.
Yeah, that and Gibson and Jared McKissick. McLaurin wasn't very good after the first week 5 or 6. Right. But we can talk about that in a second. But anything you guys want to say about tight ends? And it's pretty, like, you got Kelsey, Waller, and everybody else. It was pretty bad.
It just sucked. Zach Ertz got hurt. Sure. Kittle got hurt. So it just really hurt.
Yeah, with Kittle getting hurt and Ertz just absolutely sucking.
Well, Ertz got hurt too now.
Yeah, but he
sucked too.
He was freaking terrible when he was out there.
People who disappointed me. Carson Wentz was terrible.
And we'll talk about that in a second.
I do want to mention while we're on tight ends, as far as Travis Kelsey goes, I have him as for value this season. Number 3 overall.
It does not surprise me at all.
In fantasy football.
100%.
That's value over replacement.
Yep.
So if you got a 12-team league, you're talking about him, the point differential between him as the number 1 starter in the league and the 12th starter.
He's warranted for a number 1 draft pick.
Point difference.
Right. Yeah.
First round draft pick next. He has to be.
With our league, I'm not sure if we're still going to do the double tight ends next year. Okay, that's good news. My tight ends here in this league, in our league, I felt were fairly freaking serviceable. I had Logan Thomas and Evan Ingram.
Yeah.
And even though Evan Ingram shits the bed most of the time because of Danny Dimes here, he's still targeted 10, 20 times a game.
Yeah.
It's like this kid's getting 10 targets a game. And
he
might catch 3 catches. He might catch four balls, but
we're going to win division today.
In a 2 tight end league, the last starter, so the 24th ranked tight end, Gerald Everett from the Rams. That's how far it drops when you add a second tight end.
Oh, yeah, Tyler Higbee.
88.4 total points.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's brutal.
It's bad.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
We'll never do that again.
That's the value of a Travis Kelsey.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He scores more than any wide receiver.
And see, he does.
And that's the value of Mahomes is you've got the number 1, maybe number 2 wide receiver in the game and hands the tight end.
He's got the second most receiving yards in the NFL. Travis Kelsey does.
Yeah.
Behind your boy Diggs.
Yeah.
Like, it's absolutely amazing.
When Kittle gets healthy next year.
Oh, no. Kittle's a problem. They need a quarterback.
Yeah, who's going to throw Kittle?
Jimmy G is just atrocious.
Well,
he's never healthy.
He doesn't play.
And then you have Beathard and Nick Mullins and all
they
that.
Can get out of his contract.
They need to draft a quarterback.
That's a hot mess there.
They'll probably draft a quarterback.
Or trade for one.
If they can trade up to get Justin Fields.
They could get Prescott.
Oh, boy. Well,
yeah.
You ain't wrong about that. We need to see how JC would feel about that. But
Dak Prescott goes to San Francisco. It's going to be a problem.
Yeah. You think so?
Yeah.
All right. So I do want to go to another segment. So let's go to best waiver wire pickups.
All right.
This is probably going to be my favorite part because this is where people make the championship. This is where people win championships. This is how you get through the regular season. You have to be smart.
Lucky.
We play in a league that we don't have to give any of our real money away. But we do have to bid in one of the leagues that I'm in. We have to bid for players based on position,
dollars.
Based on position, record, et cetera, et cetera. So I want to start with running backs. Okay, so I'm going to start with the one that was not drafted in our league, but Dom earlier said that he was drafted overall usually around 3 or 4.
James
Robinson.
Yeah, not 3 or 4 overall, but in the
third round.
Yeah,
right, in the third round.
Yeah. He's 309, so 9th pick, 3rd round, ADP.
Okay, so ended up being the RB5.
4.
So what are you going to do? So wasn't drafted in our league. I picked him up off the waiver wire in week 2, which was absolutely crazy. Okay, and I wanted to get him out of the way because he was drafted by a lot of leagues out there.
Yeah, who you talking
about? James Robinson.
Oh, James Robinson.
Just wasn't drafted by ours. All right, so then you move to Merald's favorite, Mr. Mike Davis.
Yeah.
All right, so he ended up with 229.35 fantasy points.
Yeah.
Finished the running back 11
so
overall.
Yeah.
Running back 11 overall.
It was so ugly, though.
642 and 6, 59 for 372 and 2. Right? So those 59 receptions, that's going to get you a lot of places in a PPR league, especially when he doesn't play 16 weeks or 17 weeks.
Yeah.
Dude's career backup. And CMC getting hurt, I immediately picked him up. I was last in the league and immediately picked him up and wasn't last anymore. So that was fun.
No kidding.
Yeah, so
the first couple games he was solid, but then he shit the bed.
Yeah,
everything else.
Yeah, he had a terrible matchup. Yes, he did. He did not have great.
I'm sitting here looking at the first couple weeks in Hoofnagel, like there's one. I see the James Robinson, Corey Davis, Mike Davis, Antonio Gibson.
Yep. But he was drafted a lot.
Yeah, in our league, he got picked up that first week.
Yeah, so he's another one. So dang, I missed that one. Good call, Merald. Good catch on that one. Right, so the last running back that I have written down, obviously I missed one, is Myles Gaskin, the gas man himself. 168 fantasy points. Let's see, 564 and 2 rushing. 37 for 331 and 2 receiving. Finished as a running back 28. Nobody saw this coming. They traded for Jordan Howard, didn't they? Wasn't that a trade that they got?
Miami?
Jordan Howard?
Yeah.
Or
they signed him free agent. I can't remember.
He was non-existent. And Ryan Fitzpatrick made Myles Gaskin what he is. And if I would have played him last week, I would have won.
The team picked up, Jeff Solglow picked up Gaskin and dropped Breida.
Yep. And then I actually ended up with him when Jeff dropped him. All right, so
I don't know if anybody had Ronald Jones.
Yeah. People drafted Ronald Jones.
He was drafted in our league.
So his ADP was 6, and he ended up being the 21st running back, which is not bad.
Okay.
Another couple that I saw in here, J.D. Mckissick.
Oh yeah, Mckissick was
for PPR league.
Sure, absolutely.
Right. The guy's got 75 receptions.
He had 17 in one game.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if he scores touchdowns.
It doesn't.
You're talking about...
That's 75 points.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah. I picked up Mckissick and played him a few times. Yeah, absolutely. But that was the last running back I had on my list. Besides the ones that you mentioned. Merald, you got anything?
No, other than Gibson.
Gibson.
You might have picked up Gio.
Oh yeah, that later. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
But not as like a whole season. Gio wouldn't have been the pickup because he definitely did not have a great season. He had a very serviceable last 5 or 6 weeks.
Of course, but that last 5 or 6 weeks when people are dropping,
it's important.
You got to find that guy.
Yeah,
who's
add Gio to the list.
Yeah,
add Gio to the list.
Week 9, Latavius Murray.
Oh yeah, no, that was a big week for him, and he actually had a couple of weeks where
October 7th is when somebody picked him up in our league.
Yeah. It's probably dropped by me. So, quarterback. I really think there's only one to mention here, and Merald mentioned him a little while ago, Justin Herbert.
Big Herbie.
Set all kinds of rookie records. He had 405 fantasy points, you guys. 4,034 yards, 28 and 10. 285 and 4 on the ground. Finished as the QB 9. 9.
Yeah.
I don't think he was drafted in most leagues.
Oh, Herbert? No way.
I've got him at 802.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But that's that's taking into account some of those people that played later.
So he was not drafted because Tyrod Taylor until he got his lung punctured.
People thought Taylor was going to be the starter.
He was the starter until
they drafted thinking that Herbert was going to play.
Yeah, until they punctured his lung on purpose.
Yeah, tells you that these scouts don't know what they're talking about either, man. Because Todd McShay and everybody else is talking junk about Herbert. And now they're like, we saw he was great, blah, blah, blah.
He was really good in college.
But you wouldn't have thought that. When I'm listening to the NFL draft, they're just talking about, he just doesn't have it. Yep. I don't know if he really should be a first-round pick and stuff. And now all of a sudden people forget all.
I love the kid. I think he's going to be.
Let me throw out another name, and we mentioned him a couple of times, Baker Mayfield.
Sure.
He was
great year.
He was not drafted in general ADP, so you would have been picking him up on the waiver wire in most leagues. And he didn't have a great start to his season.
But
the last few weeks, you would have picked him up.
35 to 3,800 yards or so.
He was great.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Fitzpatrick, you can even add to that list because he was the QB5 over those first 5 or 6 weeks, or every week that he started.
Right. It's funny when do people start playing. So if you play at the beginning and then you suck at the beginning and then you finish, people will have a completely different
because you win the championships.
Yeah.
So the one that's cluttered here is the wide receivers. So we'll start with the best to me, best pickup. For sure, it was Justin Jefferson. I don't even think it was close. Dude had 79 for 1,267 and 7.
Yeah.
Finished as the number 7 wide receiver overall.
I think people, depending on when they picked him up, Corey Davis.
Oh, yeah. Corey Davis had 700-800 yards.
Yep.
Yeah,
Corey Davis, big. T. Higgins got people through.
I got T. Higgins here. 67 for 908 and 6. Finished as the number 26 wide receiver overall in a terrible team.
Yeah. But Justin Jefferson definitely was that guy.
Oh, Justin Jefferson, I think, is the gold star here.
Yeah.
Then you have Robbie Anderson.
Yep.
At 173 points, so 30 points below Justin Jefferson. But 92 for 1056. Finished as a wide receiver 16. And but only had 3 touchdowns. And that's the Teddy Bridgewater effect. That's the CMC effect. That's the Mike Davis effect. And honestly, we can go ahead and go to this next guy. This guy's effect, too, is Curtis Samuel. Because he had 70 for 733 and 3, and also 197 for 2. And so he was finished the 27 wide receiver overall.
Yeah.
So what is this? What we got?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so then you got Chase Claypool.
Love it.
And I tried to get Chase Claypool. He was one of the guys that I really targeted on the free agent wire, the waiver wire, and got outbid for him after that monster first game that he had. He finished as the wide receiver 28.
Yeah.
He had 57 for 772 and 8.
Right.
And 2 rushing touchdowns on a miraculous 16 yards rushing. Both goal line carries, both same game.
People spent a lot of their fab dollars.
They did. They did spend a lot of their money.
Somebody spent $35.
I was going to spend 25.
Yeah.
That's what I was willing to spend because I really needed a wide receiver before I got Tyler Lockett.
Yeah.
So then T. Higgins, who we just mentioned, great pickup. Dom's favorite, who he mentioned a little while ago, is Nelson Aguilar. 47 for 839 and 8.
Yeah.
He finished as the number 38 wide receiver overall. Listen to those numbers again. 47 catches for 839.
Yeah.
839.
Yeah.
So he's not catching over the middle of short passes.
No.
Derek Carr can sling the ball.
Yeah.
He just doesn't do it very well.
Right.
No.
But 839 on 47 catches, guys, that's 20 yards a catch.
Yeah,
that's hands down his best season.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
easy.
Like where did that come from?
Not the Eagles.
No.
Yeah. I remember being high on him when he got to the Eagles. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Because Carson Wentz was going to be able to throw him the ball.
And
then he got hurt. So then the last person that I have written down is Brandon Ayuk. Now, he missed a lot of games with COVID. I would say 4 or 5 games with COVID. You said you don't like him, Dre?
I do.
You do like him? I like him too, man. I don't remember where he played college. But dude had 60 for 748 and 5.
Wow.
I mean, he finished as the 40th overall wide receiver.
Yeah.
But nobody picked him up.
Yeah.
Like, he was on the waiver wire until week 7 or 8. And this dude ends up with almost 800 yards.
Yeah.
This is better than a lot of the drafted wide receivers.
Nobody saw it because all the games were like, it's always playing that game on red zone nobody cares about.
Holy crap.
Ayuk went to Arizona State.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Did he play for Dungy?
No, you mean
Herb Edwards.
Yeah.
Because he's got another nasty wide receiver this year.
Wow, fellas. Tell you.
Are y'all in there?
Well, tell me what win this division today. Giants
All right.
up.
If the football team wins, y'all lose.
They did an amazing thing with the NFL today by having this game be first.
Yeah.
So then this game has drama. And then tonight, I would never watch Washington play Philadelphia week 17. Now I'm going to watch it.
If the Giants win, you will watch the Redskins.
Whoever wins this game will be watching that game tonight saying, please Philadelphia, please Philadelphia. So it's going to make people watch the game tonight.
Who are y'all playing?
Because I don't watch every football game. I used to. I got other stuff to do. We're playing the Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Right,
go
the winner
Giants.
of this game is rooting for Philly. If Philly wins, then the winner of this game is the division champ. So
I think there's a consensus here that nobody here is rooting for the Cowboys.
Yeah. It's so funny. I never care about week 17 because fantasy is over. I only watch my team on week 17, but now there's so many games that have all these implications. So I'm going to be watching all the games today.
All right. So we have talked about, we have this mega huge fantasy thing here because there's so much just to wrap up. Anything, guys, we've been doing this for a while today. I don't have anything to do, but is there anything else you guys want to throw in about the fantasy season? Dom, anything that you want to add with things that you've been researching? Anything at all?
No. I was going to talk a little bit about just general principles of value-based drafting.
Sure.
But,
I'm down for it.
Hey, look, that needs to be its own time.
Sure. Yeah.
And maybe that's something we discuss going into next year.
Fantasy, so what I would like to do is have another
3 different types of leagues: Dynasty, Standard, PPR.
I would love to have another one of these episodes after the NFL draft. That's what, and that way everybody is prepared for what's coming up in August.
Yep.
And I was wanting to ask you a question, Commish.
Yeah, what's going on?
Have you ever thought about making our league a dynasty?
No, I don't think we're built for it because people don't like keepers.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we got a high percentage of people who don't like people building a team.
Sure. I think it's PTSD from that Marshall Faulk, LaDainian Tomlinson, Priest Holmes days.
Yeah.
I think that's
we have one owner that's in our league that had that Faulk and had LaDainian and just he dominated. and won a lot. And it was like going
too much. That's when we decided not to do.
Yeah, 12 going 10-2 every year or something.
Imagine having those two guys in the heyday, LaDainian and Marshall Faulk in the heyday.
And then the games are late, so you have a little bit of a lead.
You're winning by 50 or 60, and then you lose by 50 or 60.
Yeah. You're winning the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it just falls apart. You get tired of that, man. So you got this really big lead, and all of a sudden.
Hey, you're seeing how it feels played out on national television. Actually, worldwide television. We are the laughing stock of the world.
What's up, man? You be up like, I'm up like, 125 to 78, and here comes LaDainian and Marshall.
And then you lose by the same amount.
Yeah.
It was bad.
I pulled out one of those against Kiasha in Lucky 13 for third place.
I don't know how.
Well, I hit Stephon Diggs.
Oh, yeah.
And Josh Allen. I was down by a gazillion. I was like, there's no way I'm going to catch her. I was like down
could you
80.
Could you imagine? Okay. If you're in the championship game and your opponent has Kamara and you're like, I am toast.
Yeah.
And you're going into Monday night. There's no way we're catching up.
Right.
Yeah. And you've got the Allen Diggs stack.
That last touchdown, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I won by like 2 points.
Next morning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I had no idea. I opened up my phone. I was like, I won? Like, how did I win?
Say what? This must be a miscalculation.
Yeah.
I will tell you something, Dom, and I'd be interested to get your reaction here. In our league, we had some shifting that happened the day after the regular season was over. Our friend Justin, who we've known for a while, was in sixth place. Was that, or seventh? Was it eighth? Eighth. So he was in eighth. This was the person that was set to play me.
Yeah.
So he won his game. He made it to the playoffs. Yahoo, overnight, did a stat correction from week 5. And now he's not playing me anymore.
Yeah. He fell to 10th.
Week 5. Yeah.
It was supposed to post on October 23rd, and for some reason it didn't. And they did the correction, and then it updated and turned one of his to a loss.
It just happened to be that former win was against the guy that then finished in 8th.
Right.
What
week 5
was the stat correction?
It was
defense.
It was a defensive stat correction. 2 points.
2 points. 2 points added. It was like a very tight game where it was won by decimal points.
Yep.
And then
they
made a stat correction on October 23rd that gave that person 2 more points that they should have had, and it flipped. Yeah.
But it didn't. It wasn't shown until literally the day after the regular season was over.
This is a tough year to be a commissioner. I gave him his money back because it sucked, but the stats were the stats.
Yep.
So it totally sucked, and the timing.
And he was actually really cool about it.
Yeah, no, I called him, so we had a nice conversation. I was just like, dude, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I mean, because what do you do?
Ended up winning to get an 8th spot. Like he went like a 4-week stretch without even really changing his lineup. So he had just given up and got lucked into the
season
playoffs.
Without changing his lineup.
Well, no, he did towards the end. He did change a little
really?
bit. Yeah, he made a couple changes, but there was a 3-week stretch where he didn't do
He's anything. That's the guy that beat me first round.
Yeah.
I would have lost either way, though.
Yeah, your team just...
My team should have that. Yeah.
Now,
this is
I've been thinking about the idea of doing a league where the playoffs aren't determined by record on head-to-head matchups, but overall points for the season.
Mm-hmm.
Like rotisserie league.
Yeah.
In baseball.
Because you could have the second best point, the second best score in the entire league, and just happen to be facing the guy who scored the best that week and taken out.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So during the regular season, you make it total overall points for your starting squad the entire way.
Right.
And then the top 4 to 6 make the playoffs.
I would have finished first anyway.
But how do you do? You can't do that with Yahoo.
No, it's tough.
Unless you do something, man.
You just can't use one of the automated systems. Right. You've got to run.
You got to do it by yourself. Like
that would be too much.
The dot matrix machines and shit like that.
Well, no. There's other formats out there that you can use that will do that. I don't think ESPN
switch, because once you choose, because you can do points or head to head. You just can't switch in the middle. So what you're talking about, you could do on Yahoo, do all points. But then when you got to the playoffs, it would say, nope, stick to points. Stick to points.
Yeah.
So you could go to you could use Yahoo and do points all the way through and then use another format for playoffs if people wanted to do that. I like what you're talking about. I think that's fair.
I think it's fair. You score the most points in the league.
Yeah. My work league, when I used to work this nonprofit downtown Durham, and we always did points, just straight up.
I would have still finished first.
Even for the playoffs.
Now you don't get nearly as much in-season shit talking.
Right.
For the head-to-head matchups. That's part of the fun of the fantasy league.
Sure.
When you're talking about getting people and keeping them engaged all season long, I think that creates more overall engagement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you're not agonizing over, oh man, should I start this guy or this guy? I'm just going to get as many points as I can.
Yeah, no doubt. So anybody have any other fantasy notes, tidbits, anything you want to share before our next episode, which will be, I guess, in May, first part of June?
Yeah. I just have a few little stats. That's all I got. Just a few little
what you got,
corrections. Yeah. Let me start with Josh Allen and his touchdown catch. It was Isaiah McKenzie.
Okay.
As far as James Robinson goes, at Illinois State, I just wrote down some notable alums from Illinois State. I never knew anybody from Illinois State. Got John Malkovich.
Okay.
Jane Lynch.
Wow.
Okay. Laurie Metcalf.
Okay.
Craig Robinson.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, Sean Hayes, Jeff Perry, Gary Cole, and Gary Sinise.
Gary Sinise.
Yeah. So you got some
normal. Man, love me some Jane Lynch.
The last thing,
that's good stuff right there, Dre. That's why we keep you around.
Let's get to Tom Brady and his Super Bowl MVP.
Okay, so hold on. Deion Branch, David Givens, Tom Brady. And I'm out.
I'm just going through Tom Brady's Super Bowl MVPs.
Mm-hmm. Just his. He's got 3, right? 4?
He has 4.
Yeah, okay. So David Givens and Deion Branch were the ones that...
His first 2 Super Bowls, he won MVPs. The first 2.
Shouldn't have, yeah. Should have given it to
really,
the
that first one, he really shouldn't have. But he did. He only threw for 145 yards or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But he won the MVP for that game. The second one he did against the Panthers, too.
Oh,
which he
that was his.
Yeah, that was his. But yeah, he ended up winning them against the Seahawks and then the Falcons.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. That's all I've got.
And the Seahawks was so iffy because one bad decision
by Russell Wilson. Give the ball to Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn should have got that. That didn't even make sense. It makes sense for them not to give him that ball. That was just ridiculous.
It's like Carolina last night.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
So if we don't have anything else, I guess we should just wrap it up. I want to thank you guys for making the trek to Hillsboro.
Oh, yeah, man.
And coming out. This was super fun.
Thanks for having me.
Super duper fun. And Dominic, whenever you're ready, bro, we can do the liquid soapbox.
I can't wait for that.
Get that up and on.
We're gonna have to not do that today.
Dominic wants this podcast that we're calling Liquid Soapbox. That's just about a bunch of friends just getting in here and bullshit and drinking some drinks during it. And Dominic is not drinking during January.
Yeah, I'm doing dry January.
So
there's gonna have to be like the
anti-soapbox, the powdered soapbox. But yeah, okay. So next time we'll do this in May. We'll reconvene the Sunday after the NFL draft and get ready for the next season.
Prepared for
already. I'm ready.
Merald, I want to answer with by then. What are we going to do with the with our league position wise? And that way we can make sure that we can talk about that as well, just for us.
Yeah, we can have a Hoofnagel draft session.
Yeah, no, I would love that. Just to know positions wise. We'll have Kiasha in studio.
Right. And then the other conversation too. This is like we talked about this about we have a constitution and like here are rules about the league. Mm-hmm. And one thing that we haven't discussed is like participation.
Yes.
And like what happens if somebody just decides to quit playing?
Because Jonathan, we have a guy that did not play. His mom died. Okay, so he really wasn't into it.
Right.
And he didn't play the first 13, 14 weeks. He didn't change his lineup.
Yeah.
And then he makes the playoffs, and then he boots me out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
But he's a friend of mine, so that's something I can be.
We just don't have a rule for it.
We just don't have a rule about it.
Yeah, you have to have rules for stuff.
Yeah, you got to. I think we need to talk about a participation thing. But Jonathan is one of the most active members of our league in the 18 years that we've been going, so he gets a pass. I think.
We had another member, so Isaac.
Yeah, he just
lost interest.
Yeah, he just lost it. We can definitely talk about that kind of stuff next time too. I think that's an interesting look in the back end of the commish
conversation about it because this is a very difficult year to be a commissioner for a fantasy league.
I would love to have the COVID commish conversation before our draft conversation at the same day our draft conversation. Love to have that.
Hopefully, not dealing with this.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll know by then. We'll have a really good idea.
We'll see.
So before we sign off here, fellas, we would be remiss if we did not say this before we got off the air. Go to rate and review us.
Yes.
You could go to Schmo Sports at Twitter
and an Instagram, and on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Download, subscribe, listen to us
on Apple,
on iTunes,
Spotify,
Stitcher,
Google.
You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Click that little bell. You'll see every time we have a new episode.
Click the bell. Turn on the notifications so you're notified anytime we post any new content there. Our social media handles are JSmo Sports. Everywhere you find us.
JSCHMO Sports.
We are also on the web at www.joeschmosportshow.com where you can find all of our information as well as our web blog.
Yeah, so just make sure you rate, subscribe, review. All right, fellas, I guess that'll wrap it up for today. Again, thank you guys for coming. It's been a great pleasure having the Commish, Merald Holloway. And until next time, folks, we are the Schmos. We'll see you.
Cut to the theme music.
Joe Schmo.